Well, hello everybody, Eric here from Eric and Zach's Outdoors. It's that time of year. It's time to can your venison. We're going to be meeting Reno, and we're going to show you how we can the venison here on Eric and Zach's Outdoors and Reno's YouTube channel. So everybody stay with us. Eric and Zach's Outdoors, canning venison. Well, good morning everybody. It's Eric from Eric and Zach's Outdoors. We're off to Reno's. We're gonna do some canning of deer venison here this morning. So you guys stay tuned. Eric and Zach's Outdoors. We're almost to the ranch. It's a beautiful morning here in Wisconsin. Minus 12 degrees. Homestead of Reno, everybody.
Should have packed her earlier on. There we go. Got a big void on the bottom here.
All right, friends. Eric here from Eric and Zach's Outdoors. We've got the world-class Reno. He's going to show us how to do some canning here this afternoon. He's packing some jars full right now, showing us the process. Here's my meat. We've got some lids over here on the stove warming up, getting ready to put on our jars. Got our pressure cooker getting ready, warming up on the stove, getting things set up to go here. So stay tuned. Eric and Zach's Outdoors, Reno.
Okay. All right, guys. So Eric and I are having fun, and Eric's going to start filling his jars now with the meat, doing the pack. So the idea here is he's going to put the meat in the jars, pack it down as he goes, so that it's got as few air spaces as possible, and then we'll get those jars all prepped up. We can do 9 pints at a crack. So on this first batch, he'll get his all together. There we go. You've got to leave about 1 inch of head space from the top to the top of the meat. So that's perfect right there. And then we'll determine his seasoning as well. But one of the things that you have to do is each jar, at least in a pint, has to have a half a teaspoon of canning pickling salt. Right here, canning and pickling salt. You don't want to use regular salt, you want canning and pickling. So when that jar is full and he's got his air out of it and his 1 inch headspace, we'll add 1/2 teaspoon of canning pickling salt to each one, and then we'll add our seasoning from there. So Eric's gonna pick his seasoning. I see he's got Tony Chachere's, which is a Cajun seasoning, one I really like, but we'll choose the seasoning and follow up with that in the next section. All right, so Eric's first batch, he's going to make more of a steak kind of seasoning here, so we'll do some white pepper. I'm going to do half a teaspoon of that, so that'll kind of tap her off, get her somewhat level. 1 in each jar.
I sure do appreciate you helping me out with this, Ranger.
Oh, my pleasure, Eric. Eric and I have become good friends, and we love hanging together. We're like 2 peas in a pod when it comes to venison, fishing, hunting, trapping, life in the outdoors. That's where you got to be. And this is part of the outcome from when you spend time in the outdoors. You got to spend a little in the indoors, because it requires some cooking and preparation, but it's a wonderful thing. It's the bounty of our efforts. Next, we're going to add a little garlic powder. I got to get this plastic. Come on.
Full, large, and simple, right?
That's right. Large, full, and simple is the way we live. And we should live with some element of a fingernail too, but I don't. There we go. Found one. All right. Now, look, garlic. This is always good, man. Garlic is fantastic, right? This is good, healthy stuff here. It's going to add some serious flavor to that meat. So do a half teaspoon each one of those. Then we got some Kinder's Buttery Burger Blend. Ooh, that sounds delish, man. So we're going to pop that in as well. We'll do a half teaspoon of each. That's got some nice looking herbs and stuff in there. What does it say here? Onion, little sunflower, mushroom powder, some lemon juice, natural butter, turmeric, chili pepper. That's gonna give you some nice flavor there, my friend. You're gonna like that.
All right, looking forward to that.
Okay, so now we've got these prepped up. Like I say, we're going for a full batch. So now we gotta wipe the top of each jar here to make sure that we've got no contaminants on that lip where the lid is going to seal to the glass. So we want to make sure each one of these is nice and clean, because as you're packing the meat and you're doing the seasoning and stuff, it's very easy to get a drop of whatever on here, and again it will create a path for bacteria to get in the jar, and your seal may be compromised if you're not careful. So wipe them all down real well.
It's a good tip to know, friends.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those elements of finesse that will pay dividends in a quality product that's going to last for years on the shelf. There. One more. So these are 6 are the ones I've got left of my meat. They're all seasoned for taco. And like I say, Eric's got more of a steak kind of burger seasoning here. So there, we get that one. That one. All the way around. And one last one.
All right, stay tuned. I'm gonna get my jars filled up the rest of the way and we'll get this process going.
Okay guys, so now we've got this canner packed full of pints. So I got 9 pints in here. This is an old-fashioned kind of a pressure cooker. I like this old girl though. It's really simple. Like I say, I like to keep things simple, but 9 beautiful pints of meat in there. I just take this, now I'm gonna set that on, give her the spin. This one uses nothing more than a weight. It does have a pressure relief valve here that'll pop if things get in a dangerous zone. But I don't know if you can see this, but this hole is 5 pounds, this one is 10 pounds, that one's 15. Okay, so you choose your pressure by the indicator on there. We're gonna go with 10. So I just set this on top at 10 pounds. And now we're gonna crank that heat up and get her going. So that's going to start to hiss and spit for a while until it gets up to pressure, and then when we get there I'll show you how this starts to go and it rattles, and we want to get that rattling at a sequence that's roughly every 30 seconds or so, and that holds us right at 10 pounds. We'll cook it for 1 hour 10 minutes. Once that starts, we don't want to set the timer before that because we want it at a full 10 pounds, and then we're going to take them out, put them on a cooling rack, and we're going to listen for the beautiful music, sound of success of the sealing of the jars, where it goes as they start to seal. So there you can see lots of good stuff coming your way in way of living vicariously through Eric and I. But boy, Eric and I, we get to chow. And we're having one for lunch actually. I've got one over on the table over there from 2019 taco flavor. We're gonna have that and a dandy meal. So we'll get this one going. Now we're going to set up a second pressure cooker alongside of it, do another 9, and then we'll just keep rotating through till we're done. I hope you enjoy this video and you learned a little bit about canning. Maybe you already know about canning, but these are the ways that Eric and I approach this, and our techniques have worked, time proven. I learned it all from Mrs. Ranger. And we'll have a fabulous selection of meals to eat going forward, and all you got to do is heat them, or like I was telling Eric, you can just take a spoon and gobble it right out of the jar. This is the way to go. It is living life large, full, and simple. Doesn't get any better than that. All right, here we go.
All right, friends, we've got our jars filled up. Ranger's getting the second container canner prepped ready. And we'll be cooking here real soon, so you guys stay tuned. Eric and Zach's Outdoors with Ranger Reno at the Ranch of Wonders.
So yeah, we get cardinals, chickadees, blue jays, juncos, titmice, sparrows.
Here's all our jars packed full of meat, seasoned up. Ranger's getting them all heated up, ready, prepped. One cooker's going. Prepping the second one.
It's like a production line.
It's a beauty day.
Beauty day, there you go.
Send a shout out to Mark Pro.
Mark, you'll probably end up eating some of this someday soon.
Hope you're doing well, buddy. Hope to see you soon.
Okay, so we've got both pressure cookers loaded up, ready to roll. This old girl, like I explained, has the round piece on top. Gaskets, she's coming along. It's spitting a little now, but once the pressure builds, it'll seal. It performed perfectly for me yesterday. This newer one, we're going to watch the gauge get her up to 10 pounds and try to maintain it there. But once we get to the 10-pound setting on each of them, 1 hour and 10 minutes, and we'll just have some coffee and relax and enjoy each other's company now for that hour and 10 minutes. And then when that's done, I like to set the timer for 22 minutes, cut the heat, and just let them slowly come down, because the one thing you never want to do is take that lid off when it's under pressure, or release either of these valves, because man, steam's going everywhere. So I let them cool down for 22 minutes, and then I'll start to take the jars out and we'll put them on the cooling rack. We'll see at that point in time, and that's like the final step in the process where we see the culmination of all of our work come together, and that's very exciting. So see you in an hour and 10 minutes. Okay, this is the sound of canning music. We've got her up to 10 pounds. I've got to back it down. I don't want it rattling consistently, but that's relieving at 10 pounds of pressure right there. So I want to hear that sound about once every minute, every 30 seconds. And we're getting close to that point now. Once I back the flame down a little, we'll just have to tweak it slowly but surely. So now I can set my timer for an hour and 10 minutes. We'll get that going at 70 minutes then. And then when Eric starts over there and hits 10, we'll do the same. I can back this down a tad. Yeah. There we go.
All right, friends, we have liftoff. Process is going along real good here. Ranger's teaching me a lot here today. Appreciate that.
We have the old and the new. And both work equally as well.
All right.
But we're going to try to monitor this guy, get him right to 10 pounds, and then we'll have to adjust the flame to hold him at 10. Whereas with this guy, that weight determines the 10 pounds consistently for us, as long as we get an intermittent rattling to it.
Stay tuned, everybody.
Okay, so we're coming into the final steps of the process. So like I said, with my old timer here, all I have is this weight on top. You don't want to get your hand anywhere near it because steam burns terribly. So I'm going to let pressure off. You can hear it coming out a little bit. Not too bad after 22 minutes, so it's kind of depressurized on its own with the removal of the heat. So now I take the weight off, and that's done. We're safe, no pressure left. Eric's first batch has a couple minutes left on it, so that's right next door. Now I'm going to turn this lid to there, and then she'll release. Come on, girl, there we go. There we go. Everything's looking good inside. Now this is where I come in with my handy dandy tool. Reach in there. Now there's a little bit of water on top. I don't get too excited about that. I'll dab that off later, but we're gonna get these over the cooling rack now. And if you look down here, you can see she's still boiling like crazy inside there. It's cooking, cooking, cooking. So I will transport all 9 over there, get them situated, and I will take a towel, oops, and dab off the top. Dab that water off there real quick. The rest will evaporate quickly, but then I don't get like a lime residue on there when I go to write the date and the contents on it. So this device here is worth its weight in gold. Transport these guys over. You might even hear one pop while I'm doing this as they start to cool. That's the sound you want to hear right there. Yeah, baby, 2 of them.
All right.
Once one starts to go, they almost all follow suit, but they're cooling at different rates. The ones to the inside of the pile, like here, he's got that heat around him from all the other guys. He'll be a little slower in taking, so it looks like the outsiders are coming in first. But that is the sound of vacuum being acquired in the jar, and the seal has been made. We've sealed the deal. Now we'll leave the rings on for at least 24 hours or as long as you'd like, really. But I would not take them off in less than 24 hours just to make sure your seal is good. And from here on out, we move to the next batch and then consumption. Yeehaw!
Yeah, I was impressed with that.
Yeah, he put us right on. I mean, I was too. I was like, holy mackerel. There she dropped. All right, so Eric's batch is done. We just got the lid off. Pressure's been relieved. Look at that. It's like a work of art, man. Ooh la la. Okay, so now we're heading over to the cooling rack. I always put the first one in the middle because I don't want it to flip the rack over and have problems.
Boy, oh boy, friends, I'm looking forward to this. First time I've done this, and it's going to be a treat for sure.
Another tasty product from the Burke Vam Ranch. Eric and I are talking about making this an annual event. So if any of you have an annual event or that sort of thing, add it to the comments. We'd love to hear about it. And if you've got suggestions on how you season differently, we'd love to hear about that too, right, Eric?
You betcha.
We love those comments, man. That's what keeps us YouTubers alive. We feed on that positive input and support. Okay, so we're pulling them off one by one. Like I say, there's a little bit of water on the lids. I like to just dab that off instead of letting it. It'll evaporate very quickly, but when it does, it'll leave a little lime deposit on the top of the lid, which doesn't look as good or as professional, and it's a little harder to write your date and contents on it then. And I don't tip them to get the water out because you don't want to introduce the inside liquid up against that seal. We're waiting for that seal to be done perfectly, and if I were to tip that to get the water off, you'd bring those meat juices up against the seal at probably the worst possible time to possibly contaminate the seal of the jar.
Good information there, friends.
So just a little washcloth, dab the water off, and you're good to go. There it is. Okay, all 9 are wiped. And now we wait for the sound of music. You can see each little lid has a dimple on top. And as soon as they cool to the proper temperature, it'll draw a vacuum in the jar and you'll hear a very distinct click. We're watching for 9 out of 9 to go click. And when that happens, you'll see Eric and I dancing around the kitchen. In the meantime, in the background, we got his second batch going live over here. The old kettle. We just happened to finish first, so that's why I went with the old versus the new. But it just goes to show you can use either technology, and the old still works just as well as the new, and quite well. So we're going to go back to the jars, I think, because as soon as Eric's filming anything else, they're going to start sealing on us.
All right, friends, we're wrapping up things here. Got our last batch on the stove. Let's take a quick peek at what we've accomplished here this afternoon. How many meals we got here, Ranger?
Holy smokes, we got 36 at least sitting here between this batch, that batch, and 8 more here. Oh gosh, and 8 more in there. So we're talking 44 jars, 44 solid meals of total protein, flavor-packed, delicious canned venison. And 3 different flavors, right? Curry, taco, and steak.
Yeah.
So we're living large.
Well, that's what we do here at the Ranger Reno Ranch. Eric and Zach's Outdoors. Thanks for being here, everybody. Canning venison. Hope you enjoyed today's special. Till next time, we'll probably see you out on the water ice fishing. Take care, everybody.